One turn to the right, followed by two to the left, or one turn to the left, followed by two to the right.
Let's set that Clover being barrel pattern ways must make one right-hand turn, two left-hand turns. Take it one left, two right. Take it mark and flip it, rock it, buckle, do all in one as long as that barrel doesn't hit the ground.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Clover Leaf Chats. I'm your host, Sheridan Shumpert, and today I am here with Miss Faith Hudson. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so kind of just to let people get to know you, what are some of your biggest accomplishments?
My most recent big accomplishment, I'm the 2024 the Masters Super Show and 5D Barrel Race 1D Open Youth and Derby champion. And I've had a lot of like 1D youth championship like wins here in Arizona and some out of state.
I gotcha. Okay, so now we're to the 20 questions that came off social media. You know, we had them ask on social media. So first one is, what are your tips for beginners?
When you're starting off in the barrel racing industry, it's definitely going to seem scary because there's going to be a lot of people who've been doing this their whole life. But just focus on yourself. Don't focus on everybody else around you, and take everything one step at a time. And listen to feedback. Don't push people away who are trying to help you, because even as irrelevant as feedback might seem, it's going to help you in the long run.
I gotcha. Give me just a second. Hold on, my computer messed up.
You're good.
Oh my gosh, my computer getting on my nerves. Okay, wait. Okay, here we go. How many horses do you run?
I currently run 2 horses.
Where are your saddle pads from?
I get my saddle pads from Saddle Right and Best Ever Saddle Pads, and I also get some saddle pads from Impact Gel.
What is your favorite blingy breast collar brand?
I use Betty Ice Crystal Pack. I love her sets. That's where my custom Epic Sling chest plate's from. So those are definitely my favorites.
What's your favorite arena?
My favorite arena is Pima County Fairgrounds, the indoor arena here in Arizona. It's out in Tucson.
What is your best run you've made on a standard, if you know?
Pink Buckle of 2023. I ran a 17.3. That was like, there's not many standard patterns in Arizona, so when I really get to run them, it's usually out of state. So that was probably my best run on standard.
There's not many where I live either. How long have you been running barrels?
I've been running barrels my whole life.
Do you like indoor or outdoor arenas better?
It kind of depends on the indoor and outdoor, I guess. I mean, there's some outdoors that are great, and there's some outdoors that aren't great just because of the weather conditions and the ground kind of gets all funky. But I would probably say indoors because the ground's usually more consistent in indoors.
That's true. Okay, what's your worst accident you've had on a horse? Like, what's your worst wreck?
I've had a lot of accidents. I mean, running, I've had Diva slip and fall and slide almost into the fence. But I've also been like training prospects, and I've been bucked off and reared off, and I've had horses slip going around barrels training at home, so there's a lot.
What's your favorite rodeo shirt brand?
Buffalo Bling rodeo shirts. I'm one of their sponsored riders this year, and I mean, I love her shirts because you can get them customized however you want, and the sizing's great, so those are amazing.
What's your favorite saddle brand?
My favorite saddle brand is Circle Y.
What is your who's your best horse that you've got in your barn?
My best is Epic Sling. She's my favorite. I mean, I've had her for quite a while, and me and her just have a really, really strong bond, and she's really fun to run. I mean, Maybelline's also really fun to run, but Diva is really fun to run.
Right. It's just Diva's Diva.
Yeah.
Let me see. What is one horse you wish you could run one more time, or ride one more time?
Her name was Barra Fool's Gold. She was my mare in I think I had her in 2022. Unfortunately, she foundered, but I would do anything for another runner ride on her.
Okay, let me see. Accomplishment you're most proud of?
Definitely my most recent big accomplishment, which was the Crown B Ranch win at their Masters show. That was crazy because it was 3 saddles. So I was really excited about that.
Yeah, you cleaned them out at that.
That was fun.
You took all their money. Okay. Let me see. What's your favorite bit?
My favorite bit, I mean, I run Diva in I think it's an 8-inch L&W lift bit. I love that bit because it's not anything too heavy, but it's still enough to have some control.
I gotcha. Okay, how many rodeo shirts do you have? Someone asked.
I think last time I counted it was 42 or 43, so definitely a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have a whole closet full.
Huh. What is the most embarrassing run you've ever made? I'm interested to see what you say for this one.
Probably my run on. I mean, I've had a lot of embarrassing runs, but pretty recently at the Red Rocket when I came out of the second barrel and I tried to fix our pocket because I kind of came out of it wide, and I started pushing her over towards the third barrel. This was Maybelline, and I looked right at the third barrel and she just jumped right over it. It was really funny though. I was laughing the whole way home. But it was also pretty embarrassing because there was a lot of people there.
Oh my gosh, no, that's so funny. She just went wee. If you didn't barrel race, what would you do?
I mean, I guess the closest thing to barrel racing would be pole bending, event wise. Which I'm actually training Diva on poles right now, so I'd say pole bending.
Okay. What barrel do your horses prefer first? Do they like to go left or right better?
Diva likes to go left better. Maybelline likes to go right better. So I one of each.
So they're both flip-flops.
Yeah.
And then our last question of the 20 questions, which I've got others that I came up with, but, just kind of to ask. But your last social media question is, what are your tips to get out of a slump?
To get out of a slump, I mean, you have to really want it. There's no other way to get yourself out of that position unless you really have the drive and the want to get out of that position. You can either wake up every day and say, oh, I don't feel like riding, so I don't want to ride. Or you could be like, oh, I don't feel like riding, but I have to ride if I want to be better and better myself. So just really work at it.
Alrighty, so now we've to the questions that I kind of came up with because, I just came up with some to ask. So let's see. Horses in your barn and how they're bred.
So right now I have Epic Fling. She's by Epic Leader out of FF Busy Streak, who's by Streak of Fling. And then I have Fabulous Maybelline, who's by Streak into Fame out of Fabulously Wealthy. And I have Max to the Brim, who's by Maximus Bowler and out of Bremelina.
I gotcha. Okay. What are your goals for the rest of 2024 and 2025?
I have a lot of goals. I'd like to do well in the KK Run for Vegas this year because I qualified, and I think it's been 3 years since I last qualified. So I'd love to do well and make it to the finals in that. There's the Masters Run for the Border and their NFR races are also this year. So I'd really like to do well in those. Their productions are great. So, I'd love to, see myself doing good in those races. 2025. Oh, and this year I'd also like to do, run well. I'm heading out to California for a race. So that should be fun. I'd like to have some nice clean clean runs there. And in 2025, I'd like to qualify for the KK Run for Vegas again. And there's some other big races in 2025 that I'm going to, and I'll be traveling out to. So just to have a good, nice smooth season.
What race are you going to in California?
It's called the Nolan Waters Memorial Race.
Oh, I gotcha. I think you went to that one last year.
I did.
Okay, let me see. What's your weekly workout routine for your horses? What do you do to keep them in shape and running good?
So every morning I wake up around 4 or 5 in the morning because it's Arizona and it's summer, so it's really hot. And I'll either ride them or work them in the round pen. Whenever I ride them, it's either I go out into my local state park and I run them in a wash, just to get them used to running in some deep ground. And I'll ride in my arena. I'll do drills. I'll do some slow work, some fast work, and just when I'm working them in the arena, I'll make sure that they look good, that they're getting their good workout in, so they're building up some muscle.
What's your favorite drill to do? Favorite drill?
It kind of depends. I mean, I'll take them from time to time and I'll work them through pools just to get their mind moving and get them really working. But for Maybelline, I kind of like, and I do this on Diva. I'll do what I call the 2-circle drill. So I'll have a barrel pattern set up and I'll go around like the barrels, and I'll do a big circle and then a little circle and then a big circle and then a little circle, and kind of continue on that pattern until they're feeling smooth.
I gotcha. Let me see here. What's your tips for hauling horses comfortably and keeping them calm and everything while you're hauling?
If you have food motivated horses like mine, lots of hay. Make sure to bring lots of hay, extra hay, just to keep their mind occupied. Have them hauling with somebody, another horse that they're comfortable with. If you have 2 horses that have problems with each other, obviously don't haul them in the slots next to each other.
Right.
So just make sure that they always have something to occupy them.
So what are your tips for horses that are kind of hot outside and have a little bit of a gait issue?
You have to remember that they're an athlete and they know that this is their job and they know what they're getting themselves into. So naturally their adrenaline's going to be pumping. Your adrenaline's pumping and they can feel that. So you really have to be patient with them. You can't just try to get on and kick them and whip them into the gate, because it's not going to work, because they're not doing anything wrong. And by doing that, you're telling them, hey, you're doing something wrong. You need to stop it. So just take a calm approach to it and don't try to make the situation any worse than it is. If you can, have somebody lead you into the arena. I find that helps a lot. But definitely don't make it an issue for anybody else around you, because then it starts to become dangerous.
Who's your performance horse vet if you use one?
Could you say that again? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you're good. Who's your performance horse vet if you use one?
Sorry, I still can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Who's your performance horse vet if you use one?
Oh, my performance horse vet? Sorry, I didn't hear you at first.
No, you're good.
I like to use FX Equine. Brittany Factor, she's great. She has always made sure my horses are feeling best, the very best that they can be, and perform the very best that they can. So I love FX Equine and Brittany Factor.
Okay, let me see. What's the farthest you've ever hauled for a barrel race?
So from Arizona, the farthest I've hauled is Oklahoma, which was 18 hours, I think. But when we were moving from Pennsylvania to Arizona, we hauled to Las Vegas for a race, like while we were moving. That was for the Junior NFR in 2021, or KK Run for Vegas. And that's a 1 day and 7 hour haul. So,
Oof.
But there were lots of breaks for the horses. That was not a straight haul through.
I think when we went to Vegas, we stopped like 3 times. Like we did it in 3 days. It was rough.
Yeah, it's a rough drive.
It's so far. You should be a lot closer this year.
Yeah, I'm only 5 hours away.
What's your favorite run you've made?
I sound like a broken record here, but the run at the Crown V, the Masters race that I had just a few months ago, the round 1 run, that was really fun. We won the Open Youth and Derby round with that one, so it was really fun.
What's your rig look like when you let you haul to races?
So I have 2 trailers. Whenever I hold a big races, I use a 3-horse Merhow with a living quarters. So that obviously it has a living quarters, so it's a lot easier to haul around to big races when you have somewhere to stay. And then to smaller races, I have a 3-horse Sundowner Sport. So it's just a smaller trailer. I mean, it still has a dressing room, but it's easier to like park in little spots and do things with.
How many days a week do you ride each horse?
I'd say they each get rode a good 5 or 6 days a week. If I go to a race, I'll let them have the next day off, but then the day after that, it's right back to work. And if I'm not riding them, then I'm working them in the round pen just so that they still have some sort of workout and they can build up their muscles.
Gotcha. Do you have any therapies you like to use on your horses?
Yeah, so on Diva, I like to do like joint injections based on when my vets tell me that they need them. And then I do acupuncture and chiropractic work on her as well. And I also use AccuScope. And on Maybelline, I also do joint injections and AccuScope on her.
What bits I think you already answered this on a different question, but what bits do your horses run in?
So Diva runs in an 8-inch L&W lift bit with a curved setback, and Maybelline runs in an Ed Wright pretzel bit.
Oh, I have one of those.
I love those.
I think that's what Peggy runs in.
It's a nice bit. It has a lot of control to it.
A lot of lift. What's your favorite brand of jeans?
I love my Cowgirl Tough jeans. Just because I'm really picky about my jeans because I like them to fit right and I like my shirts to stay tucked in when I'm running because I take my belt off whenever I run because I don't want to get hung up in my belt buckle. So Cowgirl Tough, I love their jeans.
What do you like to run better in the summer or the winter?
Definitely in the winter. It is so hot here in the summer that I feel like at the beginning of June is like right when Arizona barrel racing season kind of phases out for the summer, and barrel racing here doesn't really pick back up until September. So there's really nowhere to run in the summer unless you want to run at like midnight. So definitely in the winter.
Okay. How many buckles do you have? How many have you won?
On Diva, I know I've won 15, but total, I want to say 26, maybe 29, somewhere like that.
Let me see. What's your favorite barrel race to run at?
I'm biased, but the KK Run for Vegas because it took me such a long time to qualify back for it, and the first time I ran at it was like a really, really great experience. So, I mean, it's the atmosphere, it's Vegas, it's like everything. So I love running at that race.
Okay. What do you use, front leg boots or front and back, and why do you use what you use?
I use front and back leg boots. I use them because I don't want to take any risks. I mean, I know some horses are bad about back leg boots, and my horses I've kind of just adjusted to them, but I don't want to risk them, hitting their legs off each other or tripping and something happens to their back leg because I didn't put a boot on it. So, and I always make sure to use bell boots as well. because I've had horses pull their shoes running and it's not a fun experience. So.
Oh no, for sure. Do you like rodeos or barrel races?
I like both. It just depends on, I guess it depends on like the different factors that go into it. I mean, I love the crowds at rodeos. I love the atmosphere. But I also love barrel races because there's big opportunities at those and you can win a lot more money. And I feel like I have a lot more time to prepare at barrel races compared to rodeos. So I mean, I love rodeos for the atmosphere and the people, but I love barrel races as well, just because of all the factors that go into it.
I gotcha. What's your estimated LTE?
I've run a lot of horses over my lifetime, so I don't really know my total lifetime earnings, because I've only really kept track of Divas and Maybellines, and I mean, I'm sure I have all the other horses I've ran somewhere, but I don't have it on me.
What's your favorite stallion?
My favorite stallion is Epic Leader. I'm biased because I have an Epic Leader baby, but
I knew that was coming. When I asked that, I was like, it's gonna be Epic Leader.
of course it's Epic Leader.
I mean, why wouldn't it be?
I love Epic Leader.
Do you like buying colts or finished horses better?
I mean, there's challenges that come with each of them. I mean, finished horses, you still have to learn how to ride them and keep up with them. And I mean, I love training babies, but I'd say finished horses.
Was Diva finished when you got her? I can't remember.
Mostly, there was just some things we needed to tweak up on.
I gotcha. I say I got you way too much. I'm sorry. I need to fix that. What's the best story you've had come out of running barrels?
I've had a lot of great stories come out of running barrels. I mean, I've surrounded myself with such a good, like, uplifting friends and community barrel racing. So there's been so many memories that I've made with everybody. There's been so many memories I've made with my horses. I just remember, like, the first thing that comes to my head specifically was, I mean, it's taken me 3 years to qualify back for the KK Run for Vegas, and I went to Amarillo, Texas to try to requalify this year, which I did. And I remember just waiting there. It was me, my mom, my uncle, Diva, and Maybelline just standing there. And I think we ended up taking Maybelline back to the stall, and I had Diva standing there. And I was just, like, watching the last few riders go, and I was so nervous. And I remember, like, the qualifier, like, wrapped up, like, the last rider won, and we went and we checked Saddle Book because they had, like, updated live results. And I remember just seeing my name in the top two, and I just started crying, and I hugged Diva, and I was so excited.
Aw, that's sweet. Okay, let me see. What's your favorite part of doing social media? I know you haven't been back doing it for long, but what's kind of your favorite thing about it?
Yeah, so obviously I'm not, like, a super big presence on social media, but there's so many connections that you make through social media, like how I first met you. I met you through social media. So
yep.
You make some really, really good friends, and there's just, like, a lot of uplifting people too. I mean, you still get the people who are nasty, but everybody's going to have their own opinion, and you kind of have to learn to deal with that. But the people who are supportive of you and who watch you chase your dreams is just overwhelmingly amazing. And you just, again, you meet so many great people.
Do you like split reins or single reins better?
I ride in split reins at home when I'm, like, going through drills or practicing or training or whatever. But I love single reins just because they're so much easier to handle. Like, you don't have to deal with your horses stepping on the split ends of the reins, which I know you can tie them up, but sometimes they fall out. So single reins kind of have my heart.
Yeah, I think it depends on what I'm doing. Do you like to go left or right better?
I like going left better just because a lot of arena, like I've been running left on Diva for 2 years, and I've always noticed that a lot of arenas have the left barrel set up so that it's like right up against the wall, and it's a lot easier running at that as a first barrel than a second barrel because obviously a first barrel you only have to go around it halfway, so it's a lot harder when you're trying to approach it as a second barrel.
Right, and your horse isn't rating as hard because you send them to the alleyway. Okay. Do you like jackpots or big races?
I like big races, because they're a lot more fun and there's a lot more at stake.
Right. I mean, most of the time you don't really go to the jackpot unless you're like working on something.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like raising your horses, or would you rather buy them already here in one piece, as I like to say?
I mean, I've had experience with both. I didn't raise Diva or Maybelline, so I mean, I still have that connection with both of them. I mean, I feel like I've raised both of them. I feel like they've been at my barn their whole life, but I've also had experience raising horses and like watching them grow up, and that's what's happening with Ducky right now. But I kind of like buying them from like as in one piece, as you would say, like as they are, just because, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can still develop that connection with them even if you haven't raised them, and a lot of people don't get that, and you still get to watch them grow up. I mean, 6 years old or 5 years old or 4 years old, however old you buy them at, is still relatively young. You kind of get to watch them get better and improve and grow into themselves.
Okay. What's something you think most people look over when it comes to running barrels?
I think people look over, like, actually spending their time training. I see a lot of people, sorry, I blanked. Can we cut this part out?
Yeah. You're good. You're good. Okay,
sorry,
ready?
I'm so bad at this.
No, you're fine. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. What's something you think most people tend to look over?
I think people tend to look over, like, putting time into training and working your horses. There's a common belief that you can just get on your horse and run them, and your horse is going to be very confused. You're going to be confused, and you have to wake up and you have to want it. You can't just skip every morning and say, oh, I don't want to do this that much, so I'm just going to go to a jackpot, but I want to win. It doesn't work that way. You have to wake up and you have to say, I want this, I want to win, and I want to do well. But to get there, that takes waking up early mornings and staying up until 1 a.m, just to beat the heat or whatever the conditions may be.
Do you like track bred, cow bred, or barrel bred? I think I know your answer to this.
Barrel bred.
I knew that was coming. I figured it would be.
Yeah.
What are your horses like? What are their quirks? What's weird about them?
So every horse has something that's like weird with them, personality wise. Diva's a very goofy horse. She likes to like rub her lip back and forth on things. Like if you start itching her, she'll start itching you. But she can also be really cranky sometimes, and I love her. I love that horse with everything I have. But sometimes she wakes up and she's in like a terrible mood, and then 2 seconds later she'll be the happiest horse on earth. And it might just be because she's a mare, but she definitely has her mood swing moments. And Maybelline's kind of like, I love her, like I absolutely love that mare, but she's kind of like an alien sometimes. Like like with lack of better words, she kind of like zones out, and she'll realize you're standing there, and then she'll just stare at you. And And then she'll walk over to you and be like, love me, pet me, and then she'll zone out again. Like, it's really weird to explain, but, like, her eyes get, like, super big and her lips her lip starts hanging down. So she does that. And Ducky likes to chew on things. She likes to chew on everything. She chewed her water pipe open in her stall. She just chews a lot. I mean, it's a baby thing, so.
Oh, for sure. She'll probably grow out of it. Who's your biggest supporter?
My biggest supporter is my mom. She's always helping me out when I need it, and even when I don't need it, which is rare. I mean, I'm always open to feedback and criticism. So my mom, she wakes up early mornings and she'll be out there helping me and coaching me along, and she supports me every step of the way and drives me outrageous distances to go to barrel races. So.
Okay, let me see. What do you feed your horses?
I feed them Tribute Calm and Easy, and then I have a bunch of like supplements that I give them in it. So like Diva, I'll put raspberry leaves in hers, and some Platinum Metabolic and vitamin E, and Maybelline, I have Platinum GI stuff that I put in her feed, and raspberry leaves, and then I also put some vitamin E.
Okay, let me see. Have you ever run poles?
Yeah, I have. Sorry, that took me a minute. I have run poles, and I'm gonna be doing junior rodeo this upcoming season. So I've been really training Diva and Maybelline in poles. So I have run poles, not a lot, but I'll be running more soon.
What's your favorite coat color?
My favorite coat color, you probably know the answer to this already. I have a thing for beige. Beige, and
I was gonna call you as a gray person.
I love grays too, but I mean beige. Yeah, I love beige too because Diva kind of has like people overlook beige a lot and like as like a dull color, but Diva kind of has some dapples that come out in the summertime and they're really pretty. So I love beige.
Okay, let me see. What do you look for in a prospect or a project?
I look for something that wants to learn. There's a lot of horses that are bred great. They have everything that a barrel racer or barrel racing horse should have, but they don't want to go forward. They don't want to push themselves. They kind of just want to be ranch horses, which is fine. And there's some horses that you're just going to have to accept, hey, this isn't going to work out because he doesn't want to go forward. He doesn't want to do this. And I don't want to push him to do something that he's uncomfortable with, that he's not going to want as much as I do. So I definitely look for a horse that's gritty and that wants to learn and wants to work. And also, obviously, something that'll pass a vet check. With good conformation, and isn't crippled.
Yeah, for real. Do you have a brand for your horses?
I don't. I'd love to get one, but I don't right now.
Do you plan to pro rodeo?
That's a complicated one. Because yeah, I'll just leave it at that. That's a complicated one.
That's a complicated question. Okay, fair enough. Tall or short horses?
I like short horses.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Diva has little legs, and she's really close to the ground. But when she's turning her barrels, she's like lower than the barrels, and that is so fun to ride. And don't get me wrong, like Maybelline's super tall, and I love running her, but I feel like I'm like in the sky, like a million feet from the barrels. I like being right there.
Have you ever ridden English?
I have. I've ridden English before. I did not like it. It was, I'll leave it at that. I didn't like it. But
do you run either? Oh, sorry, you go.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
But I barrel raced my whole life, but I've rode English and it was interesting.
My back is in so much pain. Anyway, that was random. I'm sorry.
You good?
Do you run anything in spurs?
I do. I run all my horses in ball spurs.
I gotcha. What's your favorite bloodline?
I feel like you already know the answer to this. I love Epic Leader. And Streak of Fling.
Gotta love Streak of Fling. I mean, doesn't get more solid than Streak of Fling.
I love Streak of Fling, and all his offspring are great.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Any final thoughts you want to add?
I do not.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining, and thank you to everyone listening, and make sure you come back for more. I will see you all next time, and thank you, Faith, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Okay. Bye.
Bye.